Welcome to our island in Second Life called Transforming Assessment, where we're looking at the different ways in which we can set assessment tasks for students within Second Life. In this particular example, we're inside the chemistry building and we're looking at some of the examples of chemistry type questions that we can ask of students within the Second Life environment. In this particular case, we're going to walk over and have a look at the heads up display. This is an example of a tool that allows students to be able to identify objects that are resed inside Second Life. We have instructions on the wall here so that when you come up to a particular object there will be some instructions for you so you know what to do. So you can look at these instructions sitting on the wall, and you can see that the text is coming up here that says that we should take a copy of this particular object which is sitting on the table, and this particular object allows us then to be able to do a simple assessment task. So what we will do is take a copy. We do that by doing a right hand click and our menu comes up and we look for the option that says take a copy. So we take a copy of that, and what that's doing of course is taking that object and putting it inside our inventory. Now our inventory are those things that we are able to access and to use within Second Life. So now we go over here and look at our inventory because we want to be able to find that object that we've put in there. And in Second Life the easiest way to find objects is to go to the most recent object that you've put in there, and you can see this has now found the chemistry HUD object that we have just taken a copy of. What we now need to do is we need to wear that object, so we need to attach it to our avatar in some way. So we need to attach to HUD, and then it's asking us where do we want to have that appear on the screen. So in this particular case, let's just make it appear at the top, and now that object will now appear inside the page on Second Life. We can close this so that we have a bit more room and see what's going on, and you can see that this tool is called Quiz HUD. HUD is just heads up display in Second Life terminology. Now what this quiz is allowing us to do is to ask students to touch objects or identify parts of an object within Second Life. In this particular case what we've done is we've resed, using Second Life terminology, some molecules that are sitting here in front of the avatar. Notice there's a series of objects sitting there. The Quiz HUD allows us to explore some things or to actually do a quiz. So in this particular case we will go to the quiz and see what types of questions that we can ask. In this case we've highlighted questions that require students to be able to touch an object. So what we've done here is we've linked our quiz, the Quiz HUD, with these objects that are sitting in space just here. And you can see the first question is coming up and it says to touch the ethanol molecule. And again, these are very simple examples that we've put here, but it's to illustrate the point. You could have very complex examples. You could divide your molecule up into very complex parts. It doesn't have to be a molecule. We could have any three-dimensional object that we're asking students to identify components of. So let's just look here. We can say yes, this is our ethanol molecule. So we touch that, and by touching that, the Quiz HUD then can detect that response that we've just made, and it will give us some feedback. And in this case it tells us we're correct because we've touched the ethanol molecule. What we'll now do is go on to question 2. Question 2 again will be one that we've set up deliberately to identify a particular molecule or a part of a molecule in this particular case. It says now find the methane molecule and touch a hydrogen atom. So this is our methane molecule here, but what I might do is just touch the carbon atom and we can see what feedback we get. And you can see down here it says that this is incorrect. So we've touched the wrong part of the molecule. Now of course you can give more complex feedback to students on this if you wish. Again, we're just using this to illustrate a point about how one would set this up in Second Life. And now this is telling us the quiz is complete. So that's an example of how you can couple a quiz tool with three-dimensional objects which can have components in those three-dimensional objects, and you can get students to identify those particular components or the particular objects from a sequence of objects.